Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I am Akanksha Mishra and this is Scientifics, where I will be taking you through this week's top science news from across the world. Our first story today takes us one step closer to understanding how water arrived on the moon. According to a new paper in PNAS journal published this week, scientists have found that there's two possible origins for lunar water. One is from a meteorite that's also said to be responsible for early Earth formation, and the second source is comets. The scientists conducted something called a triple oxygen isotope technique, which basically analyzed three of oxygen's stable isotopes in lunar dust samples that they got from the Apollo mission. This isotopic analysis found that one of the main contributors to water on the moon's surface is a type of meteorite that's known as enstatite chondrites. Interestingly, these are also meteorites that are linked with the formation of water on the Earth's surface. The second biggest contributor to lunar water, according to the study, is comets, another result of the isotope analysis. As studies and experiments on the moon's inhabitable conditions continue at a fast pace, a study like this is well-timed to help us understand more about the origins of water, which is an essential life component on the lunar surface. Our next story today seems straight out of a grisly murder novel, but it is in fact real and found by archaeologists from the University of Oxford. While studying the bones and remains of 30 men, women and children found in the Charterhouse Warren site from the early Bronze Age, which was about 4,000 years ago, the researchers have made startling discoveries on how these people died. Earlier believed to be just dead bodies from a single community, after analyzing the blunt force trauma and the injuries to the bones of the people, the scientists now feel that they were the target of a violent death, having been massacred, cut into pieces, and even consumed before being thrown into the shaft where they were found. Since the archaeologists found evidence of cannibalism that occurred at the same time of the death, and they also found cattle bones alongside the dead, it indicated that the consumption of these people was not out of need, but more of a ritualistic display of power over the dead. Their closest guess is that the conflict was a social one, either over theft or disease or insults. The study really puts into perspective our ideas about the early Bronze Age in England and also about social relations at that time in general. Did you know that squirrels can be carnivorous and have been seen killing and eating mouse-like rodents called voles? Well, now you do, because scientists at the University of Wisconsin have just published a paper with these findings in the Journal of Ethology. The authors observed California ground squirrels regularly hunt and eat voles across 74 different observations that they carried out earlier this year. These were squirrels of all ages and sexes, and the scientists put forward the idea that the animals that we know only as eating nuts and fruits are actually quite opportunistic, and they respond to the availability of prey around them. While other animals were not actively hunted by these squirrels, voles were their common targets. This study definitely brings a new angle into our understanding of squirrels, their dietary preferences, and their ability to adapt in an environment. Finally, a new study by scientists in Texas shows that the first time infants make sounds or talk is closely linked to their heart rate. When infants talk, or even make the first noises and babbles, it isn't just a result of speech and voice muscles, but it's a rather cognitive function that involves a lot more muscles. The authors of the study sampled 2,708 vocalizations by 34 infants and found certain linkages between the fluctuating heart rate and the timing of their speech. So, when the heart rate is at a local peak or when it's at a trough, then infants are more likely to make vocalizations and sounds. This means that the timing of speech in infants is directly related to the fluctuations in their heartbeats. The study could have an impact on how to understand language development in children and also to understand early onset speech disorders. Now that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning into ThePrint.